I am now creating weekly exclusive content for Patreon, so if you are interested in that, go check out the link down below. And of course, if you want to avoid the random lottery of FIFA points, you want to go straight to the source, buy the players directly, use u7buy.com and use the code TVM at checkout. What is going on, guys? TVM here. Welcome back to another video. Today is a viewer requested video. This isn't something that I thought of myself. Obviously, it's been done before. We've done it before. And I think I did it for like 2 or 3 episodes, and then the entry sort of dried up a little bit, so we kind of stopped. That was before Team of the Season. This is viewer squads, and in the Road to Glory, people were asking me to take a look at their teams. And I said, look, I'll give you all first refusal. So these are the squads from the people who watch the Road to Glory. If you want to get involved and you don't watch the Road to Glory, but you still want me to do this video, but based around your teams, feel free to tweet me. The link for that is down below. If you could go onto the web app, and go onto your squad and then click share and get the link and send me that. We can have a look at it in this form. So it fills the screen better, just looks a little bit more professional, if you will. And then I can click certain players, such as Adama Traore over here. And then we can go to bio, and then we can see down the side here. So the amount of games played and goals scored. We don't get things like assists, which is really irritating, but at least we can see how many games you've played and how many goals you've scored with particular players, so that would be kind of nice. Up first we have Dylan Campbell, who said that he made a Twitter account just to be able to tweet me this, so I appreciate that. You are up first. This is his team. He doesn't say what formation he plays in game, what positions he switches around for certain things. You would imagine that with this he's playing probably a 4-2-3-1, to be honest, so correct me if I'm wrong there. You've got a pretty solid defence. Regulon at left back is going to be a card that we see a lot, I think. I've not looked at anyone's team. This is the first one that I've looked at. So I would imagine Regulon will be a reoccurring theme. I love that Saul there, especially if you use him as that sort of central midfield player in a 4-2-3-1. Your defence is really solid, actually. That Carlos card, I wonder how many games you've got with him. And this is the kind of thing I like doing. Obviously, 117 games played. Even been out that long to get 117 games. That is pretty impressive stuff. The João Pedro up front is a good card. Adama Traore is going to be explosive, of course. It depends on what kind of level you are. Obviously, if you want to tweet me those squads and you want to tell me where you tend to finish in Weekend League, if you are in an elite, high elite, low top 100 player, then I've heard very bad things about Luis Alberto. A couple of people that I watch, FIFA analyst being one of them, he often criticises this Luis Alberto for not being good enough as a cam. So if you use him as a cam, then maybe that could be an area that you look to improve in on the future. But that does look like a very good team. We are now on the account or the squad of Hakim B, a very loyal viewer who always tends to send me his red picks, and he has some of them on display here. I mean, that team, again, one of those really solid sides. He did ask to see if I could give him any advice as to upgrades. There are 2 that really do stand out to me. There are a couple of chem issues here or there as well, which I'm not sure if it bothers you. It doesn't really bother me as much these days. You do still get 100 chem, as you can see at the top there. Regulon, of course, at left back. That Carlos card at centre back as well. First upgrade that pops into my mind really is going to be Santi, and the reason for it is just his stamina. Regardless of whatever formation you play, whether it be the 4-3-3, whether it be a 4-2-3-1 or whatever, Santi Cazorla's stamina is going to be a problem, right? He's got 80 stamina. That is always going to be an issue. So that might be something that you look to maybe rectify. I don't know. I mean, who you put there, I don't know, right? But bringing him on as a sub might not be a bad idea. Let me have a look to see who your subs are. Didn't look at Dylan's subs, actually, so I apologise for that. But yeah, so you've got some pretty decent subs with regards to... I mean, you can't see... that's Axel Witsel here, the guy I'm blocking. And there's Saul there, Axel Witsel there, and then, of course, the rest of them. You've got that Pedro for hitting level 30, which is nice. I don't know if there's anyone on the bench that can actually help you. I mean, Saul. Yeah, what am I talking about? Yeah, put Saul in there. Honestly, get Saul in there instead of Santi Cazorla. regardless of whatever position you use Cazorla in, you can use Saul in there, and he doesn't have a stamina problem. If you then want to switch him out the other way, I mean, I suppose you could switch them out the other way around, right? And then just bring Saul on for Cazorla. But in my opinion, I wouldn't even be worried about it. And then Immobile. I don't know how good he is for you, but for me, he's not really good enough. 76 goals in 65 games. I mean, if you're enjoying him, right, and you don't think he's a problem, ignore me. But I just feel like, again, depending on what level you are, if you're trying to get better, this is, again, from people who I watch who teach me how to play, essentially. They often criticize players like Immobile. I mean, excellent in front of goal, don't get me wrong, but in and around the penalty area, you might find that he's not as mobile as you need him to be. So that would be a big that is the one that stands out, and Santi as well, just purely because of his stamina. You've got, like I said, you've got some chem issues down here, but I've played Ter Stegen on 7 chem now and again. It's not a problem. Manolas is a fantastic defender. It is a really good team, and I do really like that Lozano as well. This next squad does have a few concepts in it, so we're not going to dwell on it too long, because obviously we want to showcase people's actual teams. But this is from someone who I know full well will fulfill this team. He said he's going to buy it on what day? On Monday, so after the weekend league, which is interesting. But he is going to get the 96 Griezmann, he's going to get 95 Royce, 93 Gnabry, and then 94 Carvajal. Has the rest of those cards in there. He does say that he plays 4-2-3-1, or will do, and any suggestions would be welcome. The bench, he's got Saint Maximum on the bench. Ooh. I mean, and he's got that Fuenzalida. I always forget his name. What's his name? Fuenzalida. I need to remember his name because he's actually going to be playing in my team. But yeah, those two cards in particular. Savanier is a very good player as well, by the way. But those two players in particular are more than good enough to go into a starting 11. That team does look absolutely phenomenal. There isn't really much in the way of a suggestion at that point. If you can afford that and you've got that team, I mean, you've hit endgame status there. There isn't really an awful lot more you can do with it, unless EA decides somewhere along the line to release some sort of crazy right back that you could fit in there, or centre back to replace Umtiti with. To be honest, I think you've pretty much hit the end of the game, and that's it for you now. It's just a case of having fun, I guess. But that team looks monstrous. This next one, unfortunately, isn't a web app link, but it's from user Kezimic, and he does have a very nice team. He does actually say that it's not the best team in the world, but to be fair, it's not far off being a very good team. There's only a couple of questionable things here or there. Maybe the right back over time could do with upgrading. Of course, there are better versions of Sancho. But to be honest, I do really like that team. I think it's very, very good. He does switch into, you've guessed it, 4-2-3-1, with Goretzka and Toni Kroos being the two holding players in the middle. And then, of course, the Sancho, Kaká, Kamada and Neymar being the attacking four, which is nice with that flat back four. The defence is pretty solid. I mean, again, the right back over time, maybe look to improve on that, but it is a very, very good team. It does kind of depend on where people's levels are. Like, I'm not exactly the perfect person to be asking because I'm not really at a comfortable elite level. I suppose if I had the players, I would be competing for it, right? Because I had more than enough games to finish Gold 1, but I decided not to because what's the point, right? But I had more than enough games to finish Gold 1 with my Road to Glory team, which is well behind the curve in my opinion. So if I had the players to maybe go for it, then sure, I guess maybe I am possibly an elite player, or at least a challenging elite player. So take my advice with a pinch of salt, right? But if you're that kind of guy who is consistently finishing Elite 1 and you're looking to try and improve on that, players like Kaká, Boateng, Liner, that 89 Sancho is sort of borderline. They are players that you now have to start looking to improve on and get better versions of, right? So Kaká, for example, that 91 is a great card, but I don't think it's quite in and around where some of the Team of the Season cards are. But, I mean, if you're not that type of player who's trying to push on for Elite 2, Elite 1, Top 100, and you're in gold and you're happy and you just want exciting players to use, that team is very nice. Is that the first team we've seen that doesn't have Reguilon at left back? Obviously, he's not going to be able to get him in there because of Neymar, but I think that might be the first team we've had without that Spanish left back. On the bench, by the way, he does have a 90 Mertens, who is criminally underrated in this game. That card is such a good card. He does have a red Adama Traore, which I'm blocking. See his face there. That Simon or Simon card as well looks... is really good. Used him a couple of times. That Kimmich card is really good. He's got it on the bench as well, but obviously using Toni Kroos instead, which makes sense because I do really like him. But that's a very good team. If I try and say the next user's name, I will butcher it completely. Louis Charles Plante? No idea. I apologise. He sent me this team. Says, I hope you enjoy it. There are some issues here, 100%, and I can vouch firsthand for those issues. So the first of which, to be honest, the first that pops out, but I think is less of an issue than the actual problem, is Jordi Alba. Jordi Alba, I've used him, obviously, but not for months, so I don't know how good he is these days. I think... I'm guessing you didn't pick up the objective Reguilon, because otherwise obviously he would be there, right? So it's a bit of a questionable one for me that he's not there if you do have him. Let me have a look at the subs bench down here. So Fuenzalida is there, Golovin is there, Best is there, George Best is there. Hang on a minute. Whoa. 231 games played on that George Best, so it's not like it's a loan. And he's got 97 Luis Alberto as well. I think you need to start reassessing what you're doing with this team, because I mean you've got flashes of brilliance here. Kamada is a very good card. Mahrez is insane. Oblak. You've got that Hatterborn at right back, actually is still a very good play even now. Carvajal, obviously. I mean, even Veron. I think Veron would be a player that you want to keep in there, sure, but PK isn't good enough. I've got him in my team and he's being replaced this week. He's just far too slow. You've got a catalyst on him, which is interesting. I think I've even got a shadow on mine and he's still trash bags. I need to get rid of him. See, he's going to be costing you goals for sure. A lot of Mark Overmars in there, which is an interesting one. I mean, for me personally, if you're going to play a left mid in midfield, you put Best in there. I know you've got the link to Hatterborn, but arguably what I would do is I would take Hatterborn out. I would put Carvajal at right back, and then I would maybe bring in Best and put him in the midfield. Obviously, he wouldn't be playing in midfield; he'd be playing him further forward, but still, because then you wouldn't need that link for chemistry to Hatterborn. There's a fair bit of work to be done there, my dude. I mean, I'm not like this type of person to say, oh, this is trash, that's trash, this is trash. And I don't know what coin balance you're working with. There's no evidence of that you didn't say anything. But Kostic is decent. His weak foot annoys me. And I say this because I've got him in my team as well, right? Kamada is brilliant, and you do need that link. I get it. That makes sense. You can let that go. Mahrez is in there. He's fantastic. Kevin De Bruyne, in my opinion, at this stage of the game, isn't good enough. But you do need that link to Mahrez, so again, maybe let it slide because we know that he needs the link. Veron, fine, links everyone together, 91 rated moments card with a shadow, probably banging. We'll let that go again. That's a good card. The rest of it then starts to come into question. Like I've already said, Alba maybe needs to be replaced. I don't know what players you've got at left back, but if you do anything this weekend, PK, try. Just get Militao, just try. And switch up that PK. Honestly, just for argument's sake, right? Go put a base gold Militao in there with a chem style of sorts, whether it be an anchor or shadow on Militao. Get him in there instead of PK, and tell me that doesn't feel 10 times better, which is stupid because PK is actually a good card. But up against some of these lightning fast team of the season cards, you'll thank me. Trust me. You need to replace that PK. This next team submitted by Kim, and it's an interesting one because he says that he has over, I think it's like 1.4 mil to change this, plays a 4-1-2-2 narrow, and has Sabitzer as the CDM, and then I think, I can't remember what he said. Sabitzer as the CDM, Nainggolan and Kimmich as the sort of two narrow centre mids, Brandt as the cam, and then Werner and João Pedro up front. I think that's what he said. Reguilon at left back again, of course. Carlos is another one of those players that I'm seeing a lot here. This Diego Carlos card, I mean, we know full well that this card is going to be phenomenal, right? He has played 84 games with him. We know he's going to be phenomenal. He's going to be one of those cards, or rather was one of those cards, and when he came out, everybody wanted him. The only real standout questionable one for me is going to be Miranda. And I don't know whether he is good or not, because on paper he looks quite similar actually to, I mean, without the pace. It's sort of like a not quite as good version of Carlos. So maybe there's absolutely nothing wrong with him at all. That is an absolutely sensational team though. I would struggle to find an awful lot wrong with it. I mean, besides then taking it up to the Ronaldos and even like Griezmann level, because I know people will say, what do you mean Griezmann level? Griezmann is sensational in this game. He causes me no end of problems. So apart from like going out and spending millions and millions of coins per card, I think this is sort of one of those teams that is pushing the boundaries of what you can build without spending 3 million a card, you know? That is a very good team. That Werner as well, again, causes me no end of problems. I don't know if I'd like to know, actually. Let me know if you've used this Miranda card, whether it be Kim, whose team this is, or anyone else who's used this Miranda card. Obviously, he's got him on 8 chem. That's going to make minimal difference, but still. If you've used him, let me know what you think of him. Is he actually any good? Or is this a card that is now sort of not quite there and maybe a little bit outdated, and you could possibly benefit from even one of the Brazilian centre-backs from one of the minor league team of the seasons might actually benefit you more there? I'm not sure. Let me know, because he's the only real quote-unquote weakness that sort of stands out to me there, because every other card in that team is banging. Up next, we have John's team. I think he said he plays 4-2-3-1. This is a really, really interesting one because he's got a lot of good cards, but he also has quite a few things that I personally would change. Just because I'm saying, oh, I would change this, I would change this. I'm not saying get the same players every single time and make your team like the next guy and the next guy. Fair enough, you want to experiment, but there are certain cards here or there that I would definitely avoid at this stage. Now, Sane isn't the one that pops out at me, but I've heard very bad things about Sane. I would like to know that this isn't me criticising your suggestion, your player pick rather. This is me just asking you what you think of him. Is Sane a good card at this stage of the game? Because he's still available to get as an SBC. He's there for the rest of the game. Let me know what you think of him, because I would be interested to know. Reguilon again at left back. He's one of those just, I unlocked him, he's there forever. That position is sorted. The left-hand side looks good, right? Desai at centre-back, out of position, albeit still a good card, so that's fine. Tony Kroos, I've got him on my main account. I really like him. I think he's very underrated. He's still quite cheap, I think. And then Gattuso in the middle, who, as a CDM, you know, banging. Nothing really wrong with it at all. There are better cards out there, sure, but still, I think he's fine. I think it's a nice link to have to everyone. Then the questions start creeping in, because Raul Jimenez up front, I liked him. I think he's a good card. It depends on whether you're trying to go for that next level or whether you're trying to have a bit more fun with it and just use players you like using. I mean, look at the record on this Raul Jimenez, actually. So, what we got here? 77 goals in 113 games. Obviously, I don't know the level of player that we have here in John. His team name is called Mason Mount Me. Hope I don't get demonetized for that. So yeah, I don't know the level of player we have here. So obviously, I can't give suggestions based on where you're trying to be and where you currently are and all the rest of it. But we'll leave that alone, because there's two bigger problems in this team. Fred, I like him. I think he's a good card. Very meta, if you will. Mahrez is fantastic. We already know this. But yeah, Fred does fit the meta of this game. So even though his stats in some areas don't necessarily come up to the standard of some of the Team of the Season cards out right now, I still think that's a great card to use. Then we get to the two, what are you doing? Kyle Walker at right back has been outdated since December. That is an upgrade that needs to happen. And it needs to happen 6 months ago. That, for me, not anymore. This Ogbonna card as well, I know a lot of people will look at it and go, what are you on about? That's actually not a bad card. I don't like him in game. I just don't think he's good enough. Like, he feels like a brick. He's so slow. He just won't turn around. And as a defender, trying to jockey and cut pass in lanes and all the rest of it, you need someone who's going to be a little bit more mobile, in my opinion. I mean, maybe you've used him, and maybe John's team here, maybe he's looking at this and thinking, what are you talking about? Ogbonna's my best player. And if that's the case, ignore me. Don't even worry about what I'm saying. Of course, like I said, Raul Jimenez and Sane may be issues I don't know. I genuinely don't know about Sane because I haven't used him. Raul Jimenez, I liked him, but I'm not sure whether... Because it was a free card, right? It's an objective card. So obviously he's not spending coins to get that, but maybe there is a better option out there. Not sure. I know there are better options out there than these two. Those are the only two that really do stand out to me and scream, please change me, because I'm not good enough anymore. But honestly, the rest of your team, it's not bad at all. I do like it. There are a couple of players in there that I actually really do like. Regulon, Fred, and Toni Kroos. Mahrez, of course, they are very good cards. These two, please make a change. And let me know about that Sane as well. If you want me to look at yours, then feel free to send me your team. Obviously, the web app link would be preferred via Twitter. If I haven't got to your team yet, because there are an awful lot more above this, as you can see, that's just from this morning. So, yeah, I will get to them eventually, trust me. They'll be in the next video. If you guys obviously enjoy this, hit the like button. It'll encourage me to do more. And I will include those at the beginning of the next episode. And then whatever other entries we get, we'll obviously tag them on. And if there's enough to do another video, then I'll do more until we basically run out of teams. So if you have enjoyed today's video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and until the next time, goodbye.
Football Index. The game changed. Download the app now.